Hi, welcome to today's live reading of Why You Don't Die in Dreams by Debbie Zello, presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Chapter 1. Oh fuck, not again, I say aloud. Sitting up in bed, I open my eyes and scrub the sweat from my face. My hair on my forehead and neck is damp from sweat. The bed is completely destroyed from pulling at the sheets and thrashing around. My heart rate and breathing climb to absurdly high levels. I might as well have run a marathon in my sleep. Swinging my legs over the edge of the bed, I grab the pad on the nightstand and flip on the light. I turn to the 5th page. Date, March 26th. Time, 4:26, same as the last 4 times. Objective details. I open the bathroom door at the office to walk into the same damn scene. Unpainted cinder block walls. Gray asbestos tile floor, generic. Spiderwebs, dirt, musty old smell. No ceiling lights or windows. I walk down the hall, slowly, towards a tiny light emanating from a large hole in the wall. My gun in front, safety off, my finger on the trigger. I duck my head in for a quick look around. There is the naked woman with her back to me. She has very long brown hair, almost to the top of her ass. Her thin arms tied above her head by a rope fastened to a meat hook in the ceiling. I see no one else in the filthy room. There is a grubby old mattress in the corner. Empty food dishes strewn around everywhere. I walk in, quickly assess the situation. Starting to move toward the woman, she said softly, "Don't let him kill me." That's it. The end. I wake up in the exact same spot every damn time. You got to give me more to go on, sweetheart, besides don't let him kill me. Show me the outside of the fucking building. Give me an address, your name, something. I say, talking to myself again. I flip back through the pages of the pad. In the first dream, I walked into the office. The second, my parents' house. The third, my bathroom. And the fourth was a courtroom. Otherwise, the dream is exactly the same. I can't change it. I've tried. I've tried to force myself to walk around to see her face. I've tried to walk back out the door. I've tried talking to her. The dream won't let me do anything different. Now, I'm awake and sweaty, just like always. I get up and strip the bed, throw on my sweats, and head to the gym. At this hour of the morning, I have the place to myself. I do a full 45 minutes on the treadmill in a full-out run. I move to the free weights for another 30 minutes. 100 or so crunches, 30 pull-ups, and 25 one-arm push-ups later, some of my neighbors start to filter in. I go back to my apartment to shower and get ready for work. My name is Gavin Mclean. I'm a single 29-year-old, 6-year veteran of the Boston Police, Homicide Division. I graduated from Boston College with a degree in criminal justice. My Uncle Mick was a 30-year veteran on the force, getting ready to retire. I wasn't sure that I wanted to be an attorney like my mother and father were. Mick offered to have me shadow him for a week or two. 2 homicides later, I was hooked. I never looked back. The bloodier and more messed up it is, the more I like it. Sounds kind of sick, huh? My parents barely spoke to me for a few years. They're still pissed at Mick, poor bastard. Holidays are always fun because no one is speaking to one another. I told my parents they could pass the practice down to Garrett and Gwen after they passed the bar. The twins are brilliant law students. In case you didn't notice, all of our names start with a G. Gilbert, my father, Georgiana, my mom, Gavin, Garrett, and Gwen. Quaint, isn't it? To make a sort of long story shorter, I am a lead investigator and I could not be happier. Except for the dead dream. That's what I call it. I don't actually see her die, but that could be what happens if I don't figure the damn thing out, that is. I finish my shower and step out to dry off. With the towel around my waist, I stand before my closet. I pick out a suit, shirt, and tie and close the door. The towel drops. I know what this sounds like, but fuck, I look good. 6'2" with a head full of medium brown hair and hazel eyes. I have the body of an athlete due to my near-daily workouts. I wish I could just keep a girlfriend. They like what happens between the sheets, so to speak. It's out of bed where I have the problem. I'm not good at romance. My job interferes all the time. I'm not available to him. Those are the usual complaints. I can screw them into next week, but if I'm not around to take them to dinner and a movie, it's over quickly. Women. Can't seem to live with them. Don't want to live without them. My office is a few short blocks from where I live. My parents' house is in Beacon Hill, of course. Their townhouse was built in 1809. My father had an elevator put in, I swear, just to show off to his partners. My parents are good people, don't get me wrong. They just think that their shit doesn't stink as much as other people's. I have lived with them. I know it does. My sister and brother never lost the silver spoon that they were born with either. I dropped mine at the house of a mother whose boyfriend beat her 3-year-old son to death. When I put him in cuffs, I wanted to push my spoon right into his jugular. That was the last time I saw it. After that, I lost my virginity, as Mick said. Popped your cherry, he whispered to me. Fuck, that man is funny. I no sooner take my suit jacket off to place it on the back of my chair and I hear, McLean, my office, now. I can't catch a fucking break. I wink at my new partner Lou and say, maybe he wants to know what I want for lunch. Don't bet on it, she answers quickly. Walking in, I sit in the chair in front of my red-faced boss. I try not to get too comfortable, sitting on the edge of the chair, giving the impression I care about what I'm about to hear. You look like shit. You can't party all night and give me a 100%. Jack fumes. I pass my fingers through my hair. That's me, a real party animal. My dead girl's what keeps me up at night, boss. She's definitely not much of a party. You still having that dream, he said, staring at me. This is the 5th time. Nothing new in it. Same old, same old. You keeping a log? Yeah. You gonna pay me OT for the working when I should be sleeping? Not likely, son, but I do need to know where we are on the Donovan case. The DA is breathing down my neck. He wants to announce that we have our suspect in custody, he said, looking at the papers in front of him. Unlikely. Unless he can get a confession out of him, the guy is slicker than shit. Every time I get somewhere close, he morphs practically into the Pope. Keep dogging him. He is bound to fuck up sooner or later. Will do, boss. Don't you want to know what I want for lunch? Grilled chicken and salad, McLean. That's all you'll ever eat. You keep putting us donut-eating cops to shame, bastard that you are. I'm chuckling as I leave his office. I round the corner to get myself another cup of coffee. I do have ices. I would take my coffee intravenously if I could. Copious amounts of beer and wine are a necessity on occasion. However, I work as hard or even harder than I play. I stop in the evidence locker to, once again, look through the Donovan box. The pimps that talk these nice young girls into this kind of life are really something. The girls think these scumbags love them and are going to take care of them. Then, for some unknown reason, they are willing to sell their bodies for them. It's not like Pretty Woman. The rich playboy is not the one who drives up next to you. It's the sweaty, old, fat, wrinkly, smelly guy that rolls down the window. The one whose junk you would never touch in a million years ordinarily. He is the one that wants to party with you. He is the one your pimp sends you in the car with. I know. I've been to the parties where some fool said if he comes back as a woman, he's going to be a prostitute. I guess that is what we would think, sex fiends that we are. I need to take that guy with me on a call for a dead 15-year-old who was beaten to death by a John, or pistol whipped by her pimp, because she didn't feel well and didn't want to go out. Yeah, it's glamorous. Dawn Donovan was just such a girl. She came into town on a bus from West Virginia. She went to New York City first. I don't know much about the months she was there, but for whatever reason, she got back on a bus and came here. Maybe if she had been found by one of the mission people that hang around the bus terminal, she would still be alive. Krug took her right off the bus. That's what he does. He looks for the girls that are alone, that look scared and out of place. I have the tape of him walking up to her and starting his spiel. He makes them feel comfortable and offers them a nice place to stay while they work on their problems. He tells them what they need to hear, agrees with them that their parents didn't understand them. After just a few minutes, she hands him her bag and walks off with him. 9 weeks later, she's on the medical examiner's table, dead. I know some of her last 9 weeks, but not much. I know he turned her out 4 days after that first meeting. I know he took her the very next day to a doctor for an initial consultation about having her tubes cut and tied. The doctor refused to sterilize the 17-year-old. The doctor said that Dawn never spoke to Krug. That Dawn never spoke and Krug never shut up. That's typical of his operation. I know she was badly beaten a week before her death because he took her to the hospital to have her broken jaw tended to. She refused to say who had beaten her. Even the social worker couldn't get her to give up Krug. Even the social worker couldn't get her to give Krug up. Dawn stuck with the story Krug had laid out for her. She tripped at the top of the stairs and fell forward down them. Her fake ID gave her age as 20, so the hospital had no choice but to release her to him. I know she picked up her customers out of local bars. I just got a tip about a guy who worked at a bar and might have known her. I was told they were friends. Maybe he can give me something to go on. Time will tell. Chapter 2. Did he take your lunch order? Lou asked, mocking me. Fuck no. Wants to know about the Donovan case. Why haven't I wrapped it up in a pretty bow for the DA yet? And you said, she questions, lifting her eyebrow at me, that everyone spends so much time staring at your ass instead of answering my questions. I told him you're more of a hindrance than a help. I spit at her, knowing it will rile her up a notch or two. Fuck you, Lou shrills, throwing her pencil at me. I smirk. I gave you the opportunity once and you turned me down. Lightning doesn't strike twice, baby. You should have spread when you had the chance. I love egging her on. She is positively gorgeous when she is angry. And risk losing the immensely high opinion that you have of me? Never. Once that genie is out of the bottle, that bitch won't go back in. When Mick met you, he said, I met my match. Fuck if that bastard isn't always right. I hate when that happens. We have work to do. I'll meet you in the car. That might work for some girl stud, but I need a please, she said with sass. I lower my face so that our noses almost touch and say slowly, enunciating each word carefully. Would you please meet me in the fucking car? Glad to. Lou gets up and sachets her tight ass out of the office. I watch as every head in the place turns to watch her progression. I certainly don't blame them. Lou is a stunning woman. She's small physically, but don't let that fool you. Lou stands about 5'3", at least that's my guess. And with the heels that she wears, it's hard to tell for sure. She has milk chocolate colored hair. It's difficult to say just how long it is because she wears it pulled up in a messy bun, wrapped up in a hairband or something. Her face is flawless and perfectly proportioned, with the biggest brown eyes I've ever seen. Her breasts are not just on her chest. They are her chest. Please, God, I just want to run my lips and tongue over them once.